what if it wasn't the metaverse, but actually the universe, and Mark Zuckerberg is just God? In today's episode of Philosophy, we are going to be talking about Brain in a Vat, or Descartes' Demon, or whatever you want to call it, because it's pretty popular as a concept. Have you ever seen The Matrix before, Cracky?
Parts of it, almost all of it.
I watched all the parts with Keanu Reeves, nothing else. So in The Matrix, the whole concept is humanity is in a simulated world and they're being grown by aliens, and they can't prove they're in the simulation. They have to be broken out by somebody outside the simulation. Mm-hmm. This is a very common philosophical point known as brain in a vat theory, or Descartes' demon.
So if all of life was just a bunch of stimulation put into a brain and the brain was sitting in a jar, whoever's in control fucking sucks.
What? Elaborate.
Because why wouldn't they just make life like perfect? What is the point of giving us hardships, right? Like,
that's just the question.
In fact, what is the point of doing the what is the point of giving the simulation?
Well, there's multiple theories on that. One theory is that there was a world like this one that formerly existed, and let's just say that all the resources got destroyed. It was just like uber global warming, like heat death of the universe. And as their last dying, thing they did, they created a super simulation that simulated everything that they had lived through before. So it just gave another chance.
Okay, so yeah, just getting us to the exact same point where we have global warming happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. It's all just a big loop. How many iterations of brain in jar are we at now? How many brains are in how many jars?
Descartes believed it is reasonable to assume that everything you see is an illusion by an evil demon who's trying to trick you into believing one thing or another. And that this is actually one of the ways he was able to determine his famous I think, therefore I am statement.
He just sounds like he was really paranoid all the time, because
there's really no way to prove that you're not just a lab rat for Mark Zuckerberg, or like Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg from the metaverse, the meta universe.
Yeah, true. And there's no reason to believe that Mark Zuckerberg is real. What if he's just a robot? What if Gary's a robot?
How do you know anybody else is actually conscious and isn't just a philosophical zombie? A Boltzmann brain is the idea that it is theoretically possible that complex systems may arise, right? Like, given enough time with random motion.
Infinite monkeys on infinite typewriters. Infinite monkeys on infinite typewriters will eventually do a better job of making content than Netflix.
Like, is it not reasonable to assume that, like, a brain could just randomly form out of random matter just by chance?
Hey, I hate to tell you this, but that's literally what happened if you believe evolution happens the way it did. Because the original formation of life was enough molecules got close enough together that it found that it was more structurally stable to act in the way of life. And then eventually things evolved to conscience as a way to stay alive, as an evolutionary measure. And so if you look at Earth on like a grand scale, brains just developed here kind of by chance.
They develop by chance, but this theory is mainly saying it as like a brain in a vat. Like, imagine there's just this universe, right? And there's just a bunch of like random particles moving. And then just for a brief second, a brain forms with all of your memories, all of the universe's stimulus, whatever, just for this brief second. And then it goes away, right? Just by random chance. So this is actually a physical, or in physics, it's used to judge different like hypotheses for the universe, because it's kind of an issue if your universe that you're describing is more likely to form random brains that just, see what you see, instead of evolved brains. Like, which is more likely in your universe? Is it more likely that a random brain out of random matter just randomly develops and that's who you are? Or that it evolved from matter that came before it, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Well, we should maybe stop this before everybody who's listening has a very long night before they can fall asleep.
Yeah. Don't think about it too much, unless you're like me.
Just go back onto the shorts feed and scroll for a little bit. You'll forget it.
Go back into VR on the metaverse. You'll enjoy.
Somebody will come by and feed your brain fish food. Yeah, well,
Bye-bye,
that's
everybody.
gonna do us. Be sure to subscribe if you want your brain vat to not be put in the sun tomorrow.
Just remember, don't take the red pill.
Yeah. Bye-bye.